Imagine you're holding a glass vase. It's beautiful, it's expensive, and it's sitting on the edge of a very shaky table. If that table wobbles just a little bit, the vase falls, hits the floor, and shatters into 1,000 pieces. In the world of finance, we call this fragile. Now, imagine a heavy steel bar. If the table shakes, the steel bar just sits there. It doesn't break, but it doesn't get any better either. This is robust. But there is a third category that most people don't even have a word for. Imagine a mythical creature, the Hydra. You cut off one of its heads and two more grow back in its place. The Hydra doesn't just survive the attack, it actually wants to be attacked because that's how it gets stronger. This is anti-fragile. Most people build their entire financial lives like that glass vase. They work one job, they put their money into one or two safe stocks, and they pray that the world stays exactly as it is. But the world is messy, it's chaotic, it's full of black swans, events that nobody sees coming but that change everything. If you want to not just survive a market crash, but actually get richer because of it, you need to stop being a vase and start being a Hydra. Today, we're going to look at the secret blueprint for a portfolio that loves stress, thrives on disorder, and turns every economic nightmare into a massive payday. We're going to explain how to build the anti-fragile portfolio. To understand how to gain from chaos, you first have to understand why almost everyone else is losing. Think about your typical safe investor. They follow the 60-40 rule. 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds. They think they're diversified. They think they're protected. But during a real crisis, like 2008 or the 2020 lockdowns, everything tends to crash at the exact same time. It's like having 10 different glass vases on that shaky table. When the table flips, they all break. The problem is that most people are optimized for the average. They look at the last 10 years of the stock market and assume the next 10 years will look exactly the same. But the biggest gains and the biggest losses in history don't happen during average times. They happen during the extremes. This is the first twist you need to understand. The biggest risk to your money isn't a small dip in the market. It's the fact that you are probably fragile to a massive event you haven't even thought of yet.
So how do we fix it? We use the barbell strategy. Imagine a physical barbell. You have a huge amount of weight on one side, a huge amount of weight on the other side, and absolutely nothing in the middle. This is the ultimate layout for an anti-fragile life. On one side of your financial barbell, you want extreme safety. We're talking about things that are so boring they make you want to nap. Cash in a high-interest account, short-term government bonds, or even gold. About 85 to 90% of your money goes here. This is your floor. No matter what happens, if the stock market goes to zero, if the internet shuts down, if the economy enters a dark age, you are safe. You can still buy groceries, you can still pay your rent. This side of the barbell makes you robust. But the magic happens on the other side of the barbell. With the remaining 10 to 15% of your money, you do the exact opposite of safe. You take extreme high upside risks. You invest in things that have a capped downside but unlimited upside. Think of it like buying a lottery ticket where the jackpot grows every time you don't win, but the ticket only costs a penny.
This is where you put money into tiny startup companies, high-risk venture capital, or out-of-the-money put options, which are basically insurance policies that pay out a fortune if the market crashes. Most of the time, these little investments will go to zero. You'll lose that 10% slowly, bit by bit. But because the other 90% of your money is in extreme safety, you don't care. You can lose that 10% 100 times and still be fine. However, when a Black Swan event hits, when the world goes crazy and the market drops 40% in a week, those tiny high-risk bets don't just go up a little bit. They explode. They go up 1,000%, 5,000%, or even 10,000%. While the fragile investors are screaming and watching their vases shatter, your tiny bet just paid for your next 3 houses. You didn't just survive the chaos, you harvested it. But here's the second twist that catches people off guard. Antifragility isn't just about money. It's about your time and your skills. If you have one job that pays you a great salary, you feel successful. But you are actually incredibly fragile. If your boss decides they don't like the color of your tie, or if an AI can do your job for 10 cents an hour, your income goes to zero instantly. You are a glass vase. To be anti-fragile in your career, you need your own personal barbell. On one side, you have your boring, reliable income. On the other side, you spend your nights and weekends on high-convexity projects. These are things like starting a YouTube channel, writing a book, or building a small software tool. Most of these will fail, but the cost of failure is just a few hours of your time. The upside, however, is that one of them could become a global business that makes you more money in a month than your day job makes you in a decade. The world hates the middle. The middle is where you find the people who are moderately risky. They take enough risk to get hurt, but not enough risk to get truly wealthy. They buy balanced mutual funds that give them 7% a year. In a good year, they feel okay. In a bad year, they lose 30% in panic. They are stuck in the fragile middle. The anti-fragile investor loves the ends of the spectrum. They are hyper-conservative on one side, so they can be hyper-aggressive on the other. This allows them to have a skin-in-the-game mentality. If you have no skin in the game, you aren't learning. If you have too much skin in the game, one mistake kills you. The barbell gives you just enough skin in the game to grow without the risk of dying. Let's talk about optionality. This is the secret fuel of the Hydra. In a fragile world, you want as many options as possible. An option is the right, but not the obligation to do something. If you have $10,000 in cash, you have options. You can buy a discounted house during a crash. You can start a business, or you can move to a different country. If that $10,000 is tied up in a safe stock that just dropped 50%, your options are gone. You are forced to wait and hope. Antifragility is the art of positioning yourself so that you have more to gain from a random event than you have to lose. It's like being a book publisher. A publisher doesn't know which book will be a bestseller. They sign 50 authors. 45 of them will probably lose money, but one of them turns out to be J.K. Rowling. The profit from that one Black Swan success is so massive that it covers the losses of the other 49 books 1,000 times over. The publisher is anti-fragile to the randomness of public taste. Now, here is the third twist. To be anti-fragile, you have to learn to love mistakes. In a fragile system, a mistake is a disaster. If an airplane engine fails, it's a tragedy. But for the aviation industry, that failure is a gift. They investigate the crash, they find the error, and they make every other plane in the world safer. The individual plane is fragile, but the system of aviation is anti-fragile. It learns from its wounds. You must do the same with your portfolio. When you lose money on one of your 10% bets, you shouldn't be sad. You should be happy that you just paid for a lesson that didn't kill you. You are gathering information. You are finding out what doesn't work so you can be positioned for what does. As we move into an era of more frequent black swans, pandemics, AI revolutions, political upheavals, the middle is going to get squeezed harder than ever before. The people who try to play it safe in the middle will be the ones who lose everything because they don't have the robust floor to protect them or the explosive upside to save them. Building an anti-fragile portfolio is a psychological battle. It's hard to watch 10% of your money slowly dwindle away on bets while your friends are making steady gains in a bull market. It's hard to keep 90% of your money in boring cash when everyone else is buying the latest meme coin. But remember the Hydra. The Hydra doesn't mind a little bit of pain today because it knows that when the real storm hits, and it always hits, everyone else will be looking for a place to hide, while the Hydra will be growing new heads.
The ultimate goal of the anti-fragile portfolio isn't just to have a high net worth. It's to have FU money in a world that is constantly trying to tell you what to do. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing that no matter what headline appears on the news tomorrow morning, no matter how much chaos, no matter how much disorder, you aren't just going to be okay. You're going to be better than ever. In the end, you can't predict the future. Anyone who tells you they know what the market will do next year is lying to you. But you don't need to predict the future to profit from it. You just need to be the person who built a system that loves the unknown. Stop trying to be the steel bar that resists the wind. Be the fire that the wind blows into a massive forest fire. Be anti-fragile.